Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Monique Denton Davis. Listen, welcome to another episode of Sister Table Talk. We are actually at episode 3. I am super excited about our guest tonight. But if you are not part of Sisters Inspire Sisters, let me tell you, sis, you are missing out. You need to head over to our website, sistersinspiresisters.com. Check us out on social media. Become a part of the membership, become a part of the network, and really connect and engage with other sisters who are doing phenomenal things, like our amazing guest that we have tonight, the phenomenal Miss Casey Richardson. So, Miss Richardson is the founder and CEO of Blaze Group LLC, and this is a phenomenal company. This organization is doing amazing things both here nationally and internationally. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but I'm not. I want to turn the mic over to you, Casey. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your company, and what is it that you do. And our topic tonight, for those that are tuning in, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Our topic tonight is innovation in your business. And when I tell you we have the right guests, we have the right guest. So, Casey, take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Will do. Thank you so much, Monique. And I want to start by saying I am in complete awe of you. I adore your passion. I adore your vision. And I adore your intentionality. You don't just put out content, you put out quality content that truly nurtures us. And I appreciate that so much. So thank you for this
Thank you.
opportunity. Hello, tribe. It's an honor to be here with you. I'm Casey Richardson, as Monique said, and I am the CEO and founder of Blaze Group LLC. And Blaze means building leaders and accepting zero excuses. That is first for me and the way I show up in the world for the women that I serve. It is secondly for those women that I do serve so that they, put on the shoes and their big girl panties and get
That's
out there. And finally, it is for the people who say they want to show up on our turf to edify us. They must come with an intention to build us, right? To speak in terms that we understand, using examples that are relevant to us so that we are edified. As Monique mentioned, I'm definitely all across the U.S. with the women that I serve, about 3,500 women that are currently in our population that are fed via virtual summits, coaching and consulting, group programs. We have a Blaze Knowledge Academy that provides on-demand learning and more. But I also do work on the continent of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. I have some consulting clients, some commercial size clients that I help to reach broader populations. Same thing in the terms that the local populations and tribes and villages understand. Heavily doing some work out here around financial inclusion. I've built a financial product that allows people in villages with no banking relationship to get loans, to get tractors, $30,000 tractors. And we've launched in 3 countries. So yeah, I love what I do. And I'll just say, first, above anything else, I'm a Black woman, right? So that is the need that I'm most sensitive to. It's why I left corporate America. We're going to get into that. But I learned a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of dope stuff. I did amazing stuff in the world, but never worked alongside a Black woman. And I never gave a loan to a Black woman before I started my own business. So that is why I'm here. That is why I exist the way that I do in the world. And I'm so happy about this conversation tonight, Monique.
So there is, I mean, you've said so much already, right? There is so much for us to unpack. I'm like, okay, where do I start? So I know that our topic is innovation. And this is a 30-minute show, so we might have to have a part 2.
I'm for it.
Saying this a lot lately, but I want to talk about, and first of all, I'm going to put your website up because your website is amazing.
Thank you so
The
much.
information that's there, and it is easy to access. It's not, oh my goodness, I'm on the site, where do I go? The information is there. I saw the classes, I saw the summits, I saw training, and I'm like, wow, that's a class within itself. How to present the information that's easy to read, that is accessible, and where you can understand exactly what it is that the person is doing. So
Yeah.
you said so many important things. And one of the things that you talked about was being in an industry where you did not give a Black person or a Black woman a loan.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that strikes a chord with me. You know, one of my favorite authors is Malcolm Caldwell and
Mhm.
outliers. And that is the root of everything that I do, opportunities and opportunities for us. And not only are you providing opportunities here, you're providing opportunities globally. But tell me about that, you know, that time in your life. And then where did the transition take place where you're like, you know what, that's it. It's about
Yeah.
business. This is why. What inspired you and encouraged you to do that?
Yeah, I love this question. I love, love, love this question, especially because I know this is going to strike chords with people who are listening. Like, we toy with this idea a lot, but we don't see a lot of people in our family who have done it, right? They say, you know, stay on the straight lace road, keep it simple, you know, don't reinvent the wheel. So really hearing what goes into the psychology of the people who do step out, I think is important. So for me in my career, I spent about a decade in corporate America structuring multi-billion-dollar loans for technology corporations, right? So the companies in my portfolio were Uber, Pinterest, Dell was my client, Apple was my client, these behemoths, right?
Mhm.
Which we see everywhere. And it was a very cool job. I learned a ton of stuff. I talked to CEOs and CFOs every single day, and I'm the one who signed the dotted line for these huge loans. But as I alluded to earlier, I never had a Black woman on the deal team. So it meant that the knowledge that I was learning wasn't getting to my communities. Everybody on the deal team was a white man. Every now and then you had a woman, but she was never, ever, ever Black, right? I never even worked with a Black man on deal teams, right? So I became throughout my career, no matter how high I went, and I promoted, I excelled, I led regions by the time I left. Um, I never worked with somebody that looked like me, which let me know that the knowledge wasn't getting to my community. And then secondly, I think even more importantly, none of the loans ever went to a Black woman, ever. Right. So then that means that the economic engine that we need to fuel our businesses, we're not getting it. Right. So that was a double problem. And I did a lot of work, like a lot of people that are listening, I'm sure. I did a lot of work internally, right, to raise awareness about the lack of diversity, to really challenge leaders to put their money where their mouth was and hire us and promote us and all of these things, right? But Monique, when 2020 came and there was just this heightened level of civil unrest, right? And then
Yes.
all of a sudden, everybody's asking the real questions around not how do I help people of color?
Mm.
How do I help Black people? How do I show up for Black people? Like finally saying our names, right? And
That's
acknowledging our
right.
community. And I had people in the C-suite. I worked for Bank of America, right? I
Mm.
had people all the way at the top in their reports calling me. And because I had always been very vocal, I'd been always, keeping it real, keeping it a buck in these meetings about what needed to be done and mobilizing change. They called me and they said, and these are always white men because women ain't up there, right?
Right.
And they said, Casey, like, what should we do? What are we doing wrong? What needs to happen? And I had to start
Mhm.
by telling them, look, you had to come all the way down your chain to call me because you don't have anybody Black that reports to you. You don't have anybody Black that's in your trusted circle. You don't have
Mhm.
anybody Black that's 3 levels above me, right? So,
Right.
so number one, like you have to realize that y'all late to the race, right? It pissed me off,
Exactly.
to be honest, right?
Exactly.
Like now you want to act like you care,
Right.
but you don't even have people in your circle, right, to
Right.
really do anything. And then secondly, I gave all of these points of advice to them because I mean, and it was emotionally exhausting, but I care about my people, right?
Mhm.
It took time for my ability to do my work, but I care about my people, right?
Mhm.
All of that happened, right? And you have us selling out. All of our authors are selling out, and always the best sellers of the summer of 2020, and then
Right.
towards the end of the year, um change just wasn't happening fast enough for me. Everything waned again. Things got back to business as usual. I was tapped. I was supposed to go to London to in April of 2020. I was supposed to go to London to start doing leverage finance. I want to work on hairier deals and be this global leader. And I was going to do it with Bank of America, but the pandemic happened in February, and that was put on hold. But they tapped me and said, Casey, while you're waiting a year to move, when things open back up, can you lead a team that's processing PPP forgiveness, right?
Mm.
And everybody that they had tapped were much higher than I was.
Mhm.
Nobody looked like me, of course, but they knew my value, right?
Mhm.
So I said, okay, if you give me a team on the East Coast, I'm gonna move close to my family. Had a couple of conditions, and they're like, yeah, okay. So I go in, I do the work, Monique, and like, once again, and now everybody is 20 years my senior and 30 years my senior, and paid, I'm sure, much more than me. I killed it, Monique. But this time it pissed me off. I killed it. This black girl, this young black girl, I'm put in a whole other stratosphere of people, and I'm still the best. They said, Casey, can you just lead the pilot program for Bank of America for global banking and markets, and you set up the logistics? And I said, okay, I did it. I killed it again. So then I'm like,
Right.
okay, so am I getting a promotion at the end of this? Are
Right.
y'all increasing my salary to what these people are already getting paid?
Mhm.
And their answer was, Monique. Now here we go. I done taught y'all all summer. I done gave you advice all summer.
That's
But here we
right.
go. The answer
Mhm.
was, well, Casey, we just promoted you a year and a half ago to vice president. It's no way. It's no way this bank could do something like that. I slid my resignation letter so fast, Monique, and I said, I'm taking my knowledge to the streets with my people because I know I'm cold. I
Right.
know I can take. I do this stuff in here with my eyes closed.
Right.
I
Right.
know I can teach my people the game in terms they understand. And then it's like, well, what name a number? What position? I'm like, no. So that's why it was moving. It was transcending being rewarded with validation and saying, wow, me,
Right.
to being like, yes, me, what are y'all gonna do about it? You know?
Exactly. And you know what you said? So when you were talking about those loans and those big loans and those that were at the table, looking at the loans and how there weren't blacks that were a part of it.
Mhm.
Were there blacks though that were applying for those loans? Were there blacks that were applying?
Of course.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course.
So I gotta
Hmm.
stop you there. So there was blacks that now I hope y'all taking notes, okay? Because when you have professionals that are at the table, professionals of color, and can tell you, listen, this is what happens behind the scenes. And I'm a director of human resources. I have about 25 plus years experience in HR. And it
No.
sometimes gets really, really frustrating because we see again at the table, we're at the table,
Hmm.
um, not always directly up at the table, right? But
Hmm.
we're able to see what happens behind the scenes. We're able to see the lack of opportunities,
That's right.
resources, and networking. And so like I said, this will probably be another show, but we have to talk about why we're not getting those opportunities, right?
Yep.
And then you talked about PPP and the forgiveness program. I know
Hmm.
first time around how many Black entrepreneurs, small business owners did not qualify for the PPP. And that's another
Hmm.
reason it is a lack of education, resources, and
Yep.
opportunities. And
Yep.
we know inequity, right? Um,
That's right.
and my next question is when you ran, and this is another thing, and it gets to the point
Hmm.
where you get frustrated, but you
Hmm.
also led. Now you led here, you led there, you gave information,
Hmm.
shared information, and
Hmm.
then you put in the work, right?
Yep.
You put in the work and you made it happen. And then when it comes time to, okay, it's time for another promotion. Yeah, you got one a year ago or a year and a half ago, and how
And
right, and
that's
I
right.
deserved it, right? And I
That's
did the
right.
work. How many
That's right.
Black people experience that? And then this is why this broadcast is so important. So I hope everyone is listening and you're taking notes. How many of us experience that and be like, you know what? Okay, maybe next year. Maybe
That
next
part.
year it'll be my time. So
That part.
when you slid that resignation letter across the desk, how
Hmm.
did you feel? Did you feel like, okay, were you worried? Were you concerned? What am I going to do? How am I going to make a living? How am I going to maintain? What's next? What was next
Yeah.
for Casey?
Yeah, great question again. Because there are so many emotions that come with that. Because, like people warn you, even grandparents know, like, baby, you got your secure, stable job, you keep that, right?
Right. That's
When
right.
going into entrepreneurship, you do not have a safety net, right? Like, there is no guarantee. So, I will say that was my biggest question, especially not having planned to step into it. Knowing I'm cold enough to do it if I'm cold enough to excel this much in this global corporation, but
Right.
not having easy guaranteed money, right? So I'll be very transparent. I believe in salary transparency too, so people can know their value in the markets. Hello.
Hmm.
I was making close to, from that job, close to $180,000 per year,
Wow.
right? So it was a nice chunk of change. Now,
Right.
mind you, they could have paid me more because I know my peers that were higher than me was getting paid even more. But right, it was a nice chunk of change, right? So I had
Mm-hmm.
to ask myself the question: um, if all of this money went away and
Mm-hmm.
I was poor for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? Was it still worth it? Was the dream still worth it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Would my freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment
Mm-hmm.
trump that big salary? That was the big question. And I
Mm-hmm.
pondered it. I pondered over a couple of days, and then I said, yeah. I said, I will be poor for this dream right here. Right. And it
Mm-hmm.
was walking away from a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was number one. And then I called my dad. Um, and this piece is powerful because this is something I don't take for granted, because while people who love you, when they love you, they project their fears onto you,
Right.
right?
Right.
They want you to play it safe. They want you to be okay, you
Right.
know. And I called my dad and I told him I was pondering. I told him what happened at work, and I said, I want to bet on me, pops. I believe I can do this. I believe I'm cold, you know, and I
Yes.
might be poor for a while, but I believe, you know. And he said, do it, baby. I was so shocked. I was so
Look,
shocked.
that's all you need is your
That's
parent
all
to say,
he believed in
to
me.
validate it and say, okay, you got this. And just like, oh, okay, mom said it. You know, my dad said it. That's it. It's on
That
now.
was it.
It's on.
That
Right.
was all I need. I got chills talking about it. That was
Right.
all I needed, Monique. And I did it. I did it. And I am so happy that I bet on myself. I'm so happy that I bet on myself. And I will say the capital piece is important. You and I keep hitting on that. Thankfully I had a nest egg, right? I had some savings because I had made so much. The pandemic was going on. I wasn't spending nothing, right? So I knew that I could survive for a while, even if no sales came in. And I'm gonna say this because Black women, you know, I
Mhm.
want us to live life on our terms and take the guardrails off. I went to Dubai
Yes.
for a month. I stayed in
Yes.
Dubai for a month right after I
Yes.
quit,
I love it. I love it. I love
right?
it. Right.
To think, create, to take them, to prove to myself, to put skin in the game and prove to myself that I could do anything. I wanted to be a global leader. I could be a global leader. So I went before the election because I didn't know whether Trump was going to win or not. But I said, listen, if I don't want to come back to America, I want to be over here, decide over here, right? So I went before the
Love it.
election. He didn't win.
Right.
So I stayed my year and I came back. I'm sorry, my month, and I came back. And then a couple weeks later, I went to Zanzibar for 3 weeks. And again, I'm creating, but I ain't playing. You know, I believed in myself so much. So I'm in Africa and I'm creating, which is opening my mind to what can happen on the continent of Africa. Nothing is manifested yet, but I'm intentionally putting myself in these positions to take the guardrails off. And I started building a work from anywhere business, putting my systems in place, my scheduling in place, etc.
Yes.
And this is news to you, Monique. So I did incorporate my business. I got it started. I got team, all of these things, right? And started growing it from the inside. But I said in February, I believe, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that I can build a work from anywhere business and work from anywhere I choose to. And I said, I'm going to stay in Africa for the rest of the year. I said that in February 2021.
Wow.
Mind you, my business, and I've like well exceeded what the average pay or the average compensation is for African American women owned businesses. It's $24,000 in the U.S. It's $149,000
Yes.
for women overall. It's $218,800 for white women. Okay, but I said that. I said that in January as I came back. I'm like, I loved it over there, and I felt free over there, and I got a following of it. And I'm already making sales. And I said it to my mama the first time. This time, I
Mm-hmm.
said, Mom, I believe I can do this. I believe I can do this, and I'm going to build my business in the US, but I believe I can be anywhere in the world and do it. And she said, Casey, she said, live your best life. She said, you don't have any kids, you don't have any debt, you have time if you change your mind. You be safe, but you live your best life. And on the 20th of February, I got on a plane and I've been in Cape Town, South Africa. I've been in Nairobi, Kenya. I've been in Tanzania. I have closed commercial size contracts, but they paying me crazy money, and I'm serving women. I threw a global summit December 1st to the 5th, 900 Black women from around the world registered. And it's getting
Yes.
bigger. So anybody can do this thing, right?
I love it.
Anybody, and my target is the US. I
Wow.
just take the guardrails off, right? But yeah,
So
anybody can do this.
we have to get into the innovation, but I mean, first of all, some of the comments is you are awesome. Yes, take the
Thank
limits
you.
off with hearts.
Yep.
So the women are really understanding and relating. And I have to say kudos to you. And kudos to
Thank
you. And
you.
sometimes I have issues because I get emotional, but I am like, you are the epitome. You are the role model
Mhm.
for young Black women. And when I meet women like you, I just get so filled and so happy because one, you are an example of yes, you can. Okay, yes, you can. Not
Yeah.
only did you leave, I mean, you dropped the mic, you picked up your bag, you packed your stuff, and you
Yes,
walked
ma'am.
away from a job, 180,000 job a year. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are some women, Black women, that don't even know that this is what's possible for us. That you could first of all even get a job making
Yep.
that much. That don't have that amount of confidence or the resources or didn't have the education or whatever it is that it took, and
Yep.
then to take the risk, right?
Yep.
And then you took a risk and you said, that's it. And then we have challenges with in our communities with, first of all, we have to start, and one of my co-authors said this, normalizing luxury in the Black communities, right? It is okay for us to travel. It's okay
Amen.
for us to have luxury. We do not have to be poor. We don't have to live
Amen.
poor, and we don't have to think poor. So I also
Yep.
feel like wealth is a mindset. But now
Amen.
I want to get to, I can't believe this. I can't believe the time, but I want to get to, let's get to some of this innovation because, first
Okay.
of all, I need some information. I need to know how you close some of these major contracts, but let's talk about
Mhm.
having a portable business because your business is portable. You can go anywhere, you can go
100%.
anywhere. So tell us a
100%.
little bit about that, those steps that you took and how, I mean, 2020 is when you left. We're just going into 2022. So
Mm-hmm.
you a bad sister. The
Ah,
last, I mean,
thank you.
listen, we're just going into 2022. Okay. What is it you have to give us? If you could at least give us like three main things on how we can be innovative and do some of the same things that you've done.
100%. And I know we have 7 minutes left, so I'm gonna fit it in here. I promise. I wrote down the top five that I want people to start doing today, to start implementing today. And I'll say the key is automation.
Hmm.
Automation can
I love
help
it.
you effortlessly scale your business because you're not lifting a finger. And so it's okay that you only got 10 fingers and two eyes and one mouth, right? So number one, you need to be soliciting feedback on the ready, on autopilot all of the time. When we go to sleep, Apple pushes updates to our phone. How do they and why do they put updates? Because they're getting feedback on what sucks, what's great, what people want more of, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera. Be okay mentally with accepting feedback so that you can iterate your products and your services on the ready all the time. How do you do that? You My two favorite options are either using Google Forms, which is absolutely free, or Typeform, which you would have to pay for. Typeform, you have to pay for, but there's an experience when people are filling out the form. It is beautiful. It feels good. It's engaging, right? I use Typeform because I'm running a business, not a hobby, and I
Mhm.
want to invest in that brand aesthetic, right? So one thing you should do with that, create auto-generated emails that go out after all of your meetings or your consultations or your sessions, right? You can
Mhm.
go into your Acuity or your Calendly platform, create that auto-generated thank you message, but always include a link. Let it be one or two sentences. Always include a link to your feedback form. That way, every single time a meeting happens, you don't pick up a finger, you don't lift a finger, but people are giving you feedback. You need it so that you can continue to iterate, right? So you
Right.
continue to get better and better, etc. And then also, if you have courses, some people have courses, uh, implement a midpoint survey and an end of the course survey. Again, you want
Mhm.
feedback. Even if it's good, you want that feedback, but do
Right.
that on Ready so that as people are doing their self-paced courses or your live courses, right, you're always getting feedback and you can continue to innovate, but you get this effortlessly. Number two, automate your networking. This is so important because one plus one is not two. It never was. It's 11. Like there is so much power in
I
having those
love it.
relationships, you know?
Love that. Right.
So I talked about Calendly and Acuity. I'm hitting on that again because you need those systems. Let me tell you something. If you're going back and forth via email saying what time works for you, what time works for you, oh, okay,
Oh
well,
my goodness.
like you wasted so much time, right? When you can
Right.
automate it. So get Acuity or Calendly. I love Acuity because it has so much scale to it, right? So I get products where as my business grows, the same platform can grow with me, but create a link for somebody to schedule a 30-minute meeting with you or whatever, right? And then put the link in your email signature so that every
Yeah.
single time you send an email, they see the link down there to schedule a meeting and they can do it. They don't have to ask you no questions. They see your availability.
Right.
They know their availability, right? But automate your networking. And number two, if you have business cards, the outside is opening back up. So get you some business cards, but put a QR
Yes.
code on there that has a scannable image so that people can
Mhm.
automatically get to your scheduling link that way. So when people scan those things,
Oh, I
their
love
website
that.
comes up. Put that on your business card so it's
Right.
effortless. Like as soon as they get it, they go ahead and get on your calendar, right? So automate your networking because 1+1 is 2. I mean, it's 11. It was never been 2. Number 3, affiliate marketing is amazing. I'm going to explain very quickly what that is.
Okay.
You have products that you're selling, right? And
Mhm.
people go to a link to sell it, right? And you can only reach X number of people, anybody, right? Everybody has a limit. When you do affiliate marketing, you have affiliates that you don't pay up front, but these people have their own link, and every single time somebody purchases a product from your site, they get a commission. You
Right.
still gonna reach your same people, but these people working in overdrive to get a commission, 10%, 20%, 30%. And there is an infinite scale to your affiliate links, right? It could be 600 people. I mean, you can make so much money. It could be 30 people, whatever. But do that. So Kajabi, for those of you who have courses, they have an affiliate program thing where literally it'll create the links and a sign-in password. These people can have their own, and they just sell your products for you. You get 60%, 70%, 90%, you choose, and they get a 10%. Podia is the platform I use for my stuff. It's unlimited affiliate links.
Mhm.
You can also go to shareasale.com, and you
Mhm.
can list your products on there, and legit people can sign up to be affiliates, and the same thing. They'll have their own link and they'll get a commission automatically. But automate that, right? So that
Mhm.
people are pitching all over the world for you. You're not having to do extra work for it, but you're getting money and there's no upfront cost for you. And then really quickly in the last 2 minutes, automate your email list growth.
Mhm.
Email lists are very, very important because you get inside of the phone of your customer, inside of the mindset of them, because you can set up customer journeys and all of these things, but automate that growth. So if you're putting out events on Eventbrite, love it, great. Integrate it with MailChimp or your thing so that automatically as people register, it goes to your email list and you don't have to think about it. Acuity and Calendly, I talked about using those systems. Integrate it with MailChimp or your email marketing tool so that every single time somebody schedules a meeting, even if it's networking, who cares? It goes to your list. Zapier is great for connecting sites. So be creative. If you're hosting webinars, link Zapier to your webinar so that everybody that signs up for your webinar goes to your email list. Digital downloads, right? If you're telling people to
Mhm.
download things digitally, link Zapier to whatever that site is so it pulls those emails, right? Those subscribers or whatever to your email list. But do this as much as you possibly can. It'll always stay there. And then as you add, you continue to scale and your email list is growing overnight. And in the last 2 minutes, the last one is automate your customer journey. So really quickly, a customer journey is the experience a potential buyer goes through from the time they first see it to the time they're thinking about it to the time they do a free webinar to the time they check out. Like think about that, what that is, and automate it. Facebook Business Suite. Everybody has Facebook. Guess what? Their business suite has a free autoresponder. So if people text you your business account, have some automated generated things that says, hey, join our email list or join our Facebook community, right? Add keywords, right? So that they say if they put a certain word like podcast or they put a certain word like women or whatever, it auto responds with other things and products and offerings. So you automate the customer journey. You can do the same thing in your email provider. Same thing. Maybe somebody clicks a certain link in an email you send. Automate them being tagged as something, and then you send emails to the people that are tagged that, and then after 3 months you can have them fall out, right? But automate that stuff so that you are scaling on autopilot. That is all I have to say, and I will say I do teach this stuff a lot. I'm offering 50% off to your people, Monique, using
Wow.
the code.
Okay. So we got,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I just need like another 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. Because you just said a lot. And I was trying to put it in the banner and I'm like, no, I gotta listen. I can't type in. I'm like, I need to listen. So you said, and now this is So first of all, um, we definitely need assistance in doing these things. So for
Yeah.
those of us that are not technologically savvy, okay, because you said a whole lot of things and I'm still like, okay, let me go back. I'm gonna have to watch the replay like 10 times. Okay. But I also know that sometimes I have trouble even setting up the calendar. So now I have a business operations manager who is phenomenal,
Mm.
who does some of these things for me. But for those of us that are at a space in our business where, okay, we need to do all of those things, are these things that the average person that's not technologically savvy can do?
My answer to this is yes, with a caveat.
Mm-hmm.
Stop, and this is I'm talking to me, us, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Stop aiming for perfection. It's
Right.
progress over perfection. You
Right.
just start somewhere, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
talked about using tools that as my business grows, like I can scale
Mm-hmm.
with it. Because the longer I use it, the more code I'm gonna be. Right? It's like using Excel for the first time. You don't know what you're doing, but over time it gets easier. So just start somewhere, right?
Okay.
Log in, do the basic things. And in 6 months, you'll be doing extra things. In 1 year, you'll be doing extra things. In three, just start somewhere. There's no rush to being perfect. Like you can't break this stuff. Like you
Right.
cannot break it, right? So
Right.
just give
Right.
yourself grace and time.
Okay. So now tell us a little bit more about this course. Well, listen, 50% off. Okay. I need to
Yes,
know.
yes.
We need some details on that course. And I also need to know because I want to put this in our Facebook group along with the replay. Um,
Mhm.
how long is this 50? How long do our viewers have to sign up for this?
Yes, great question. So, I offer a 6 week course called the Blaze Business Intensive that is targeted towards new entrepreneurs, so that you learn how to manage your business like a ninja and work on it, not in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is called the Blaze Business Intensive. It's a 6 week course. It's a self-paced version of it where you can get it anytime and you move through it. And it's very engaging. Like people have quit their jobs, like legit quit their jobs after taking this course
Mm-hmm.
and like are flourishing in their businesses. And when I say flourishing, I mean truly like with confidence, with peace, with ease, without burden, etc. Right? So there's a self-paced version of the course, Blaze Business Intensive. You can get that anytime. And the code is Sis Table Talk. It will never expire. 50% off. This is for this
Woo!
community. It will never
Listen.
expire.
Okay, do y'all see why y'all have to be connected? Do y'all listen? Sis Table Talk is the code. Let me write that. That is
Yeah, Sis
awesome.
Table Talk. And then there's a group coaching version of the course where I
Mhm.
am teaching it live to a cohort. I only do these cohorts twice per year, once in January and once in July. Every single year, but just twice per year. And the next cohort, the next cohort starts on January the 8th. So it's a Saturday, next Saturday.
January 8th.
The
Okay.
the code works for that as well, 50% off.
Mhm.
Again, it'll always be there. But obviously on the 8th, you can't get in, you can't get inside of that cohort because it would have started and it won't come back again until July.
Right, right. Okay. And that, so the live cohort, how long is that? Is that another 6 weeks?
Yep, both are 6 weeks. So the self-paced version, you'll have modules that drop every week, a new module that drops every week. And then for the live version, I'm teaching a new module every single week. And both of these are on blazeknowledgeacademy.com. Blazeknowledgeacademy.com. They will always be there. Self-paced, you can always get it. The code will always work. And the live group portion or version of it, January 8th is when class starts, which is next Saturday.
Okay, that is excellent. I have to make sure that I share that information. Um,
Thanks, Monique.
Lastly, with the innovation, are these
Mhm.
also some of the things in the programs that you are teaching to your international audience? So the audience that you're working with in Africa, are these some of the things that they are participating in and that's helping them leverage their businesses as well?
I have chills. I love that question. I love that question. The answer is there's a very small percentage of the African population that's ready for that. That's meat and potatoes. To be very, very frank
Mhm,
with you, a
mhm,
lot of people in Africa, they've never even seen a keyboard. They're using their phones, right? And they definitely don't own desktops, right? So when it comes to registering for my webinars,
mhm.
I'm telling you, they'll message me on Instagram and they say, how do I sign up? And I'm like, there's a link in your email. And they're like, oh, I need an email. Like, we have to get all the way down to the basics, right? So, which is why I'm predominantly targeting and serving people in the US, because we can get up and run with this stuff, right? We know how to sign on the Zoom and all of these things. And it's going to take me studying this content. And that's why I'm going through companies and helping them help their people in terms that they understand.
Yes.
But I'm going to have to study this culture before I just go direct to customers here, because I don't want to miss them, right? But yes, there is a small portion of, and I'm talking about these women leaving jobs too. One of the CEOs of a company that I consult, he messaged me 2 weeks ago and said, Casey, another one that left my company. Would you stop empowering my employees? But yeah, very few can actually jump into the stuff we're doing. Now, the Blaze Virtual Summit was beautiful, though, Monique, and that a lot of people, Nigeria, Kenya, they were able to join because it was just logging in, right? Like very low touch. All they had to do was just, watch the video. So I did learn that is a format that they can digest very easily, which is good.
So that is awesome. Listen, I have to thank you. I need to know, we need to know, the audience needs to know, we have your website. How can we connect with you on social media?
Yes, let's connect. I'd love to connect. So my personal Instagram page is I am Casey Richardson. I am Casey Richardson. It's that on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Twitter. On Twitter is I am C_Richardson, but then my company, Blaze Group LLC, we're Blaze Group LLC on all platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, etc.
Excellent. Casey, listen, you'll be getting a automated email from me. Okay. An automated email from me. And we definitely need to schedule another table talk, because I'm like, okay, there's so many other things. And I know we talk about the innovation, but I know there's so much more that you could share. So, and there's so much in terms of education and resources. And then, we have to have a table talk, which is going to be about motivation and empowerment for young Black businesswomen and for those that want to take the leap. You are absolutely amazing.
So are you.
Doing amazing things. Thank you so much. I am just excited. So as soon as we finish, I'm going back to watch the replay, because I need to know some of this information. Once again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you to our audience for tuning into the Sister Table Talk. Again, my name is Monique Denton Davis, your host, founder of Sisters Inspire Sisters, and also Embrace Your Cake. I want to thank our amazing guest, Casey Richardson, founder of Blaze Group LLC. Listen, Blaze, okay, Casey is on fire. So that's the right name. Okay, that's the right. And I'm old school, but there is so many nuggets and gems that are in this broadcast, so many things that you can learn. I urge our entire network, women that are watching, go over to Casey's website, take advantage of the coaching program. There's two. And listen, you get a 50% off discount if you use the code SIS Table Talk. SIS Table Talk. Casey, have a wonderful evening.
You too, beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I will definitely be in touch.
Thank you so much. Love and light, Monique.
Thank you.